Alright, come join Kyle, John and David as they go through what's on the playlist, find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest, in and out points, no celebs and the gossip, back in time where we're talking about the big M's, coming attractions, what the queue, quick checks, who'll be laughing, you abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
Yes, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all latest in television, entertainment, and Emmy nomination reactions from two videos with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and a third one is
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I am the bear of this show to John's Shogun because he's the directing samurai, and then Dave, you're only murders because we're always wondering what's happened. What you did to this show?
what did I do?
Yeah,
You think you are what, the bear, the funniest one on here, the big
Yeah.
comedy series? I don't think so. I'm calling that a fraud. Oh boy, a lot to break down today. The Emmy nominations are out. It's our 11th annual Emmy nomination reaction special. They came out this morning. We're going to be talking about them tonight. We're not predicting them yet. That's later. Just our reactions to the 76th Primetime Emmy Awards that are going to take place on September 15th on ABC. This is Emmys 2024, not to be confused with the delayed 2023 Emmys that took place on January 15th, 2024. A lot of issues Google or SEO going on when I'm trying to find out images and docs and stuff with that. But we're talking about the shows that came out between June 1st, 2023 through May 31st, 2024. So yeah, 23, 24, 76, 75th. There's a lot of numbers going on. We're going to crunch it. We're going to break it all down. The nominations were announced this morning. We're reacting tonight. Predictions in September. A lot to get through. We're going to break it up, kind of some overall stats, and then we're going to go kind of category by category, and then we'll finish up with some, unique oddball ones at the end. So let's jump into it. Overall, some big players not in the race this year. The leaders like Succession, The Last of Us, The White Lotus, Ted Lasso, all from last year. They're all out. They're not here. So instead, we got mostly some new leaders in the pack. We have Shogun leading with 25 nominations, followed by The Bear with 23, and then Only Murders in the Building with 21. Now, for those asking, where's House of the Dragon? Where's The Boys? Bridgerton? That's all next year. It's this year's nominees. We have here, we had possible contenders like Black Mirror Season 6, The Idol. Yes, The Idol was eligible, but like The Bear here isn't for Season 3 that just came out. This is Season 2 of The Bear, which came out last summer. So Season 2 got 23 nominations. Just overall thoughts so far, Kyle. These top three, the top, leaderboard. What do you think?
I think it all checks out to me. The Bear is a very popular show, as is showcased by the the celebrity talent that has rolled through in last season and this season. Shogun was a great show. I really liked. Only Murders is a very, very popular comedic show. But yeah, all the top players are there. They always love The Crown. I think True Detective getting that many noms is kind of a surprise for me. I thought it was an okay season, but I didn't know it was. I think it's kind of maybe a down year in drama or these categories in general, like limited and drama. So, yeah, it all checks out to me.
Yeah, someone with like Only Murders, I feel like it always gets like a lot of nominations, but then like I'm looking at it, it's like right now it's like total, I believe it has like 49 nominations over these like some seasons, 4 wins, and they're usually I think like the tech awards and stuff. And yeah, it's like meanwhile it's like last year I think like The Bear might have had like 13 and got like 10. So it's just like you see the discrepancy there. Sometimes like yeah, they've been going all in on these shows, Succession and The Bear last year. But Yeah, I mean, I heard a lot, like I think a lot of people thought The Bear was going to lead just like it cleaned up at the Emmys in January. Of course, it was going to lead for season two. A
Hmm.
lot of people thought with Shogun as well, especially leaving the limited category, which we could talk about in a bit, going to drama, which may be a little bit of a weaker one this year.
Hmm.
So like of course gonna, especially a lot of whether it's with acting, but also all those below the line categories, cinematography and that's sort of thing, costumes. But yeah, I mean, you got a lot of the players there. The Crown, of course, getting a bunch of
Hmm.
nominations. Um, Hacks is a big favorite. Some surprises you have, like with Fallout, The Morning Show. How did The Morning Show get that many
Yeah,
nominations?
I know. I was so surprised. And
Um,
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like I
yeah,
thought that was a decent show. I didn't know it would get that many nominations, so that was kind of surprising as well.
we're mentioning a lot of the drama shows, and I think that'll lead to that when we get to that. Maybe why those shows really cleaned up in drama because wasn't that many other ones to go.
Hmm.
But if we look at it by network, it's usually a race between Netflix and HBO. But this year, FX actually posed a huge threat to that. Now,
Hmm.
Netflix did lead with 107 nominations, but FX actually got 93 nominations for second place. This is the first time FX has even come close to winning this title. I believe it's like its previous big record back with like the OJ season was like 50 some. So like it
Hmm.
really did well. It beat Max HBO by two. They got 91. And then you have Apple there with 70 nominations. And then it's like a big drop where it's like, okay, it's like 38 for ABC and CBS, 37 for Amazon, but like those four are really at the top there. But what's wild about this is FX scored 93 nominations with just nine programs.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, HBO got 91 with 29 programs.
Hmm.
So it's just like they went all in on these FX shows. Um, I will maybe nitpick a little bit here. If we're gonna, give this to FX, there's some like counting shenanigans going on because like as you can see with this top 10 list, Hulu is separate from FX.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hulu received 26 nominations thanks in a
Hmm.
huge part to Only Murders in the Building, which airs on Hulu, just like The Bear does.
Hmm.
So if we count The Bear and FX as shouldn't we count it Only Murders in that one? So it's weird that we have FX's streaming partner separate, but then we have Max and HBO together. So then we take out the Hacks nominations from HBO?
Hmm.
It's I don't know. So I mean, I guess if you combine FX and Hulu, I guess they are the winners of today's
Yeah.
of today's group.
Well,
Um,
it'd be interesting to see, like, if you asked how many people watch The Bear on FX or Hulu,
I don't
I
think it's
wonder
on
what.
FX. Like it's only
D-
on Hulu.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense then. It doesn't, because also they brand Hulu and FX together.
Yeah. And I think the majority of people like, how did you watch Shogun, Kyle?
Yeah, on Hulu.
Yeah. And it's very confusing. And then it's like,
Yeah.
well, if you get down to it, it's like, well, technically FX and Hulu are owned by ABC, well, owned by
Yeah.
Disney, which has
Disney. Yeah. Yeah.
ABC.
Yeah.
Wait, well, there's ABC here, there's Disney Plus here. You
Yeah.
know, it's a mess. It's a mess. But I don't know. I don't know. Congrats to Netflix. I think we'll talk about it. Maybe it's like HBO just having a weaker year. It lost Succession. It doesn't. It's
Mm-hmm.
waiting on House of the Dragon, Last of Us, White Lotus, and everything to come
Mm-hmm.
back. So of course it wasn't going to get first place this year, but to get
Mm-hmm.
third, really at the end of the day, that probably was a hit for them today. But
I think I don't know how Apple has done in the past, but I think their shows are definitely starting to get more
yeah,
notice. Definitely a lot of shows on there I've heard about. I've heard about like Slow Horses and a couple of other shows. They're gonna have Severance coming back soon. So I
soon,
soon, yeah.
Soon.
So I think they're fully in the TV game now
yeah,
when it comes to prestige TV.
definitely. They got a lot of stars, and the Emmys definitely love their stars.
Hmm.
Um, All right, let's jump into our first one of the night. Let's start off with drama series because yeah, that Shogun is just leading with overall nominations.
Hmm.
Shogun's there, 25 nominations, followed by The Crown with 18, Fallout, The Morning Show, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith with 16, Slow Horses with 9, and then The Gilded Age and Three Body Problem with 6. Those 8 series are your outstanding drama series nominees. What are your thoughts there, Kyle, on those 8 nominees?
Um, I mean, I could see another Crown win with all this happening. Sorry if you can hear the sirens behind me. They're
That's
coming
okay.
for me. Um, but I could see another Crown win with the weak year. I love Fallout, so I'm glad it got some love there. Um, I texted you guys about the morning show. I was like, did I miss something? Every time I hear about the show, people are saying how it's not really great, but it's still interesting to watch. I'm so confused by that. I was surprised by Mr. and Mrs. Smith Love, but I'm glad for uh that team that worked on that, and so yeah, Shogun. I really was glad I watched it because I asked you about it, Dave, and then I was like, I'm just gonna tune in,
Yeah.
and I really, really like that show. And I'm still making my way through Body Problem, but in my mind, it's not one of the front runners, but
No.
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, I
Overall, I think it's kind of a year, but there's some good shows on there.
Yeah, I think it is like a weaker year. It reminds me of the year must have been like 2021 when it was like um with everything with COVID and all the shows getting delayed and you were getting stuff with I like The Boys, but like The Boys was
Hmm.
setting drama series, Cobra Kai was up for like comedy
Yeah.
series. It's like get out of here these shows. Like you don't get a spot in this. And that's what it feels like a little bit
Hmm.
with this group. Maybe it's because of the strike a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, you don't have like the heavyweights that we had like last year with like something like Succession and something like that. I think Shogun is like the top pick right now. Just I mean, obviously with nominations, but from all the love I've been hearing about it, I think
Hmm.
initially a limited series. That was I think the
Yeah.
plan was going to be entered that way, but then they said, wait, maybe it'll be a drama series. And it looked like it was a good move. It really helped get a lot of nominations for them. Kyle, you could probably speak a little bit to Shogun. Like, I mean, I know you watched it all. Are you glad for all those nominations? Are you wanting a second season of it? Are you expect like what are you feeling about
Well,
Shogun?
I would have thought that it would have been a limited series, but interested to see where they go with it. But I really enjoyed it. I got past the whole English, Portuguese, Japanese language, that nonsense, but I did enjoy it.
Hmm.
It I feel like it replicated the production design, everything was very good. The acting was good, and uh, a lot of times it was really like a Japanese show, like it was in Japanese. So, I mean, I thought it was cool. I'm for it. I'm down. Let's do
Yeah.
another season. I could see it winning, but
Yeah.
I from this list, I wouldn't be surprised if the Crown wins.
The only thing about like The Crown, I feel like it had a very like muted final season, and I think I
It
saw some
did.
like thing today on like Rotten Tomato, like who got that means nothing, but it had like all the nominees, and they're all like, oh, like all positive, all 80,
Hmm.
90% or whatever. The Crown had like 55%. It was like insane.
Yeah.
It was the only rotten
Hmm.
show of this list, and it's like, man, it just did not connect.
Yeah, and also I feel like it came in and just died out.
Yeah,
There was no real
yeah,
fanfare about it, but I feel like it has this underlying
yeah.
popularity of just I
And it
I
has
don't
one
know.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if it's one of those shows where like people are like, "Oh my God, did you watch The Crown?" It's like not that. It's like people just watch that kind of, but it's still the directing for The Crown and
yeah.
stuff, and the production is very good. I only saw a couple of episodes from this season, but from what I saw, like it still sucks you in. I'm like, why do I care about this story? And then it still sucks you in. So they do a good job with it.
Yeah, and then you look at these nominees, and you're like, I guess, yeah, Shogun and Crown. Like, I don't see Fallout winning. I don't see Three
Mm,
Body Problem winning. Like, I think it takes a lot for them to really get behind a show like that. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw it with Game of Thrones, but like it's hard,
Mhm.
I think, to get behind a show like that. I want to talk about the morning show a little bit here. There was
Yeah.
way too many morning show noms. I don't watch it, so I can't like really like nitpick which one like should have gotten it. But like this isn't Succession. This isn't White Lotus. Like when you have like about half in supporting actor from this show,
Mhm.
Billy Crudup, Mark Duplass, John Hamm. But then you also have like over half in supporting actress, 4 out of 7. It's just pretty much like that show, and then what, like, The Crown,
Yeah.
maybe one for the Gilded Age. It's like, really? That's the best. Like, there's nothing else in supporting actress across all of TV. Like, really? That's
Mhm.
where it's like, I don't buy it. Like, I think expand your palette, TV audience, watch more than 2 or 3 shows.
Mhm.
But yeah, good for them. I mean, they cleaned
Yeah.
up. I think it's just because like all these empty spots because there were so many Succession and White Lotus people last year that it was just those 2 shows in these
Mhm.
categories. So it's just like, well, we have 8 spots to fill. Like, what are we going to fill it with? Let's just do
The
morning
the
show,
morning
morning show.
show?
Like,
Okay. I
but
guess.
yeah. Uh, but lots of John Hamm love. He's up for the morning show, but he also got lead actor in a limited series for Fargo. So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
back, baby. He's
He
back.
is. Yeah, he is
Yeah.
back.
But yeah, it just feels like such like an off year. Just like especially
Well,
in
it's
this
just
category.
it's just weird. You're telling me the morning show is like this acting showcase. We couldn't have spread this love around a little bit.
Yeah.
It just is wild to me. But
Yeah. I mean, I think like especially when you have like an ensemble like with the
yeah.
Gilded Age, so many people, The Crown, so
Yeah.
many people. It's like Shogun. I mean, what we have
Mm-hmm.
one, no, maybe two nominations for Shogun. But I'm sure that's a huge ensemble cast. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. But I don't know. Amazon had a good haul with Fallout and Mr. and Miss Smith, both there. Donald Glover up for lead actor and writing for Mr. and Miss Smith. Lots
Mm-hmm.
of guest actors and actresses. That one actually like surprised me with the amount of like guest acting because normally, yeah, you get it in. I would expected it in like the morning show or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll get to it with the Bear, but it's like they had Michaela Cole, Sarah Paulson, Parker Posey, John Turturro, and Paul Dano, all get nominations in guest actor, drama, or actress. I love Paul Dano is as Hot Neighbor. That's his official character title was
Yep.
Hot Neighbor. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was an all-star cast, and I could probably name 2 or 3 more people.
The
Which I can't remember his name, the Civil War
wet
actor. I liked in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Wagner Mora.
I think it sounds like
Yeah.
it could be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He did a good job too.
Yeah. So yeah. So a lot of people up for Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
That's
Meanwhile,
cool.
yeah. While I think some things like Amazon did really well, we talked about FX doing really well. I think Disney, you could see like almost like slipping a little bit with like
Mm.
their Star Wars and Marvel output. I mean, we got to remember that they would have shows like WandaVision, The Mandalorian, like
Mm.
cleaning up or in like winning Oscar or not Oscars, Emmys, and like they used to be series noms. This
Mm.
year, Ashoka got a couple below the line stuff. Loki got like just 3 like costumes, visual effects, like they're spending so much money on these shows, and I don't think they clicked with audiences. They didn't click
Mm.
with critics. They didn't click
Mm.
with awards. Yikes, like it's just um
Yeah, I think there's been some kind of pushback with the content with Marvel in
yeah.
general, and then with the content or the storylines getting critiqued by audiences, and I think even some backlash for like the visual effects and stuff that they're doing and putting out, and like, oh, this is
I even heard a
Disney
little bit for
quality.
that Deadpool and Wolverine. People were critiquing the effects, and who knows if it's just the trailer online or
Hmm.
watching on your computer versus on the big screen. But you should really think long and hard if you want to spend your money on that film. You might not want to.
Don't think, just go. Just
No,
go.
no,
You're gonna be
no.
the only one who doesn't see it if you
Hold
don't
on to it,
go.
and maybe check out a film like Twisters this weekend.
Yeah.
I need the help, guys. I need the help.
No, get out of here.
But I think when it comes to TV and Disney, it's the oversaturation of everything they have, and they're, a lot of people feel like they're just like bastardizing lore and previous stuff because they're like super fans and they look for every little thing that's wrong, and so
And also it's just like expanding, like you have to like expand the story more because I feel like the issue with all these things are like they're so based on like comics.
yeah,
Sometimes they get boxed in, but then it's like stuff
yeah,
with like Star Wars. It's like how many more stories can you like? Because like they won't like go past episode
yeah,
9. It's like we can
yeah.
only do stuff between, right before
Hmm.
A New Hope or like right before this film. There's nothing in between. It's like there's only 20 minutes left of material you haven't covered in between these movies. Like you've exhausted
The
everything.
timelines run out. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier. HBO had like a poor showing. I mean, last year they had 4 out of the 8 spots in drama series. You know,
Hmm.
half the category for outstanding drama series was them. This year, just one.
Hmm.
And sure, these are limited series here, but they paid some like tried for some big bets and they just didn't pay off. The Regime with Kate Winslet series after Mayor of Easttown, think it's gonna
Hmm.
get something. One for costumes. The Sympathizer, the big budget spy series, just one for Robert Downey Jr. in acting. So
Hmm.
it's like you spent all this like money to give it the Sunday night premiere slot. It just didn't connect with audience. I dropped off of watching The Sympathizer. It just wasn't doing it after 2 3 episodes, and then I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and I also feel like the marketing for that for HBO and Max has gotten all wonky now
Yeah.
too, with the whole Discovery thing being brought in. So if you're not marketing the shows and really putting it out there, I think it people are wondering what they should tune into, because there's with so much content, it's like, even though this has Robert Downey Jr. in it, like what about it is going to make me watch it? And like you said, if it's not there, or
Yeah.
it's just, why am I going to continue watching this show if it's not any good? So, like what is it, The Regime with Kate
Yeah.
Winslet? Barely saw anything about it, and then
Yeah.
I'm flipping through the queue and it's there, and I'm like, is this something I should check out? I
Like,
know it has
is this
Kate
a
Winslet,
movie?
but
Is it a
I've
TV
not
show?
heard
Like, yeah, what
anything
is this?
about it.
Yeah.
So,
Um, both these shows tied for nominations with The Idol. Yes, The Idol got an Emmy nomination. It is an Emmy nominated show. It got one for choreography or something.
mm,
But
it did not for script writing.
not for
Not
script writing, not for Abel the Weekend or whatever. Nope,
Yeah.
nothing for
Okay.
him. But better luck next time.
Because
Sam
I heard the
Levinson.
dialogue in the sex scenes is just top
Mm,
notch.
mhm. It's so true to life. Um, yeah, and then Netflix, sure, it had The Crown in there, but as we talked about, poorly reviewed final season. I think, probably they wanted more probably from Three Body Problem. The
Yeah.
first show for the Game of Thrones guys, Game of
Hmm.
Thrones cleaned up at the Emmys. This one got in just for sound, picture editing, cinematography, and then obviously series, but like no writing, no directing, no acting. Like
Hmm.
it probably, yeah, with the amount of money they spent on it and
Hmm.
the kind of weird, like it's renewed for more episodes, and they're like another season, not just more episodes. It's, how many? Like, like it was
Yeah.
very like, what does that mean?
Hmm.
How many episodes? How long are the episodes? Is it a TV movie? Like, what are you doing? And it just
Yeah.
seems very questionable, that whole strategy of what's going on that show. But
Yeah. Also, I feel like with that show, they're really on a nice edge. I feel like it could go
mm,
poorly very, very fast. I'm still not all the way through it. I enjoy parts of it, but some of the acting is not there for me.
mm.
And yeah.
Yeah, it's like for me, like when things click, they really click. There's like
Hmm.
a really amazing sequence. If with like with a ship and
Hmm.
like it's like wow, all right, like this is captivating.
Yeah.
Like what's going on here? And then there's other points where it's like kind of like bored, and you're
Yeah.
like, Yeah.
that ship is exactly where I stopped.
Oh, wow.
It was a good scene, but then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll watch more later, and then I
Yeah.
just never did.
Yep. Yeah,
Ugh.
there's no like oomph to it. There's not like I really need to watch this. And for a show based on like this outer world coming and this it feels like it should have more to it and it's not there. That's why I feel like it's on a knife's edge where it could just be like really bad. So,
Well, what I'm really annoyed with is like we just talked about, like, oh, The Idol got one nomination. This
mhm.
show went home empty-handed, so it has less nominations than The Idol. It's the curse. The curse.
Yeah. Yeah.
No series, nothing for Nathan. The most surprising probably was Emma Stone. I think a lot of people actually had Emma Stone as like not only a lock for nomination, they felt like she had a really good chance to win drama
Hmm.
actress, especially after, the success of, just coming off of an Oscar win. But I'm just surprised at the very least do something for the stunt work, the cinematography for that finale.
Mm.
Like there's some impressive stuff in that even I think Christopher Nolan was
Yeah.
talking with one of the Safdies there and was like, how did you do that? Like, and
Yeah.
to confuse him, like that's something. So I don't know, maybe it was just like in the wrong category because it's like it was kind of like more of a comedy, but also after watching the finale, this is a limited series, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
what is it doing here? Is there going to be more? I'd be surprised if there is,
I
but
mean, now that it didn't get any nominations, I
yeah,
don't think you'll
yeah,
see probably another season, right?
yeah. And then that's why it's like, oh, why didn't you do like what every other show does, the Big Little Lies of it all? It's like, yeah, it's a limited series. Oh, we're actually coming back,
Yeah.
after you get your wins. But
Yeah.
anyways. Any other snubs for you, Kyle, in the drama categories?
In the
Any
drama
surprises? Anything
categories.
you want to talk about with drama before we move on?
I had the curse. I had Emma Stone. Oh, I thought it was interesting that the for Shogun, the main like g- link between like the American side of things and the Japanese side of things was this guy Cosmo Jarvis, and he did not
Hmm.
get nominated at all. It's like the main guy. That's like how we were seeing the world through this kind of outsider's eyes, and he wasn't nominated at all, which is kind of interesting.
Hmm.
Because like a bulk of the show is through his eyes. So,
And
and
they
he did a great
nominated
job.
everyone around him, it sounds
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but huh.
So it's a weird one for me. And then maybe Abby Elliott. Oh, that's in the comment.
Yeah.
You gotta go. Everything
Well,
else is
is
good.
is it a
Yeah.
comedy? We'll get to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, let's talk
So,
about the limited or anthology series category. There's only five nominees here, but it's a strong, at least three or four. We
mm-hmm.
have True Detective Night Country. They led with 19, followed
Mm-hmm.
by Fargo with 15, Ripley with 13, Baby Reindeer with 11, and then Lessons in Chemistry with 10. Those are your
Mm-hmm.
five outstanding limited or anthology series nominees. Thoughts on this five?
Um, I liked a lot of these. I still can't wait to check out Ripley. I've only seen a couple of episodes of Lessons in Chemistry, but there is a wild tonal change in like the first or second episode that Jess had me watch, and I couldn't believe it happened. I'm like, wait, what in the world that happened? So it's just wild. But yeah, of this, I shared my thoughts about Baby
Mhm.
Reindeer. It was frustrating to me at times, but I get why it's nominated. And it was very popular amongst a lot of people. Uh, Having not seen Ripley too much, I think I would lean towards Fargo. I think Fargo had a very strong season this season. Um, the ending's a little wonky, but I still liked it more than True Detective.
Mm,
But I did like True Detective. I think there's just some issues throughout that story that
yeah.
kind of bothered me. But yeah, I think it's an okay category.
Yeah, I've seen four of the five. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen Lessons in Chemistry yet. I think, we always talk like oh, usually like the limited series category is so good, and then like I think and then last year I feel like it wasn't that good. Like sure there was
Mm,
beef. I like Fleshman is in Trouble, but like you had Obi-Wan Kenobi and
yeah.
Dahmer or excuse me, Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. But like I think this year we finally went back to it. It's like, oh, it's back. I think it's like a really strong, solid group.
Hmm.
Um yeah, I mean, I think I'm surprised a little bit about the lower amount for Baby Reindeer. I mean, it is a like smaller show, a small cast. Plus, like, there's like this whole writing and directing rule where it's like only in these categories, like you get one nom per person per category. So when you have something like Richard Gadd, who like wrote every episode,
Hmm.
you get like just the one nom. You don't get one for each episode kind of thing. So like that
Okay.
kind of like hinders your nomination total. But then it
Hmm.
might help you when it comes to voting because it's like they'll go all in. Like right now it's like all of Baby Reindeer and all of Ripley are up against like individual episodes of like Fargo or Black Mirror. So it's like a weird like you're judging the entire work of Baby Reindeer versus an episode of a show.
Mm.
But
Yeah, that's weird.
yeah, so yeah. So maybe that explains like the sort of lower count, but then also it's like, I think it's just like a surprise, this show kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
With not like maybe household names. So for this story to get as much acclaim as it has, I was also glad to see was it Jessica Gunning who plays Martha there. Of course,
Mm.
she was going to get a nomination, but it's just good to see it because sometimes those things get forgotten. Like
Yeah.
Andrew Scott in
Yeah.
the in Fleabag, for Hot Priest doesn't get the nomination or something like that. But also Nava Mao who plays Terry was
Hmm.
also a nice nomination as well to see.
Hmm.
But Richard Gadd is up for producing, writing, and starring in Baby Reindeer. Um, let's see. Let's jump
And
to yeah,
you got to think, didn't it have some controversy too? So
yeah, and,
it's probably good
yeah,
that it kind of um
yeah. Like
was able to overcome that a little bit.
yeah, like who knows? Like there's this whole thing where I think John sent it to me with the real Martha,
Yeah.
saying some of this stuff
Yep.
hasn't happened, but then it's like some of the things when she was saying that, like it kind of proves this other point.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so it's
Yep.
like who knows what's actually like, and again, it's a show, but like it's the lines are blurred. So
Yeah, for sure.
um how with let's see, like with Fargo, of course, John Hamm, Juno Temple,
Hmm.
Lamorne Morris, that was his first nomination there. It was nice to see Winston get some love. I'm kind of glad though. I saw some people like say like snub Jennifer Jason Leigh. I did not like this character. I thought the accent was
Mm.
so fake, it's so put on, and just felt very like a stereotype. So kind of like glad that this one didn't get the nomination,
Yeah.
for Fargo,
I
but
yeah, I agree.
yeah. Um the one that I was excited to see, I recently just watched it after actually coming back from Italy was Ripley and I watched the movie before I went and there's definitely obviously beats that hit maybe won't be as surprising, but there were some things that they changed. But man, Andrew Scott, like it's just I'm really rooting for him. Like, I don't know if like with Baby Reindeer, like who knows, like if they give Richard Gadd like the writing one and they give this show the other one, I really hope he gets an Emmy for this role. He's so good. He's so mesmerizing as of course Tom Ripley. And it's also like at first I was like really turned off, like, like seeing like the posters, it's like, oh, black and white. Like, am I really gonna like
Hmm.
it's beautiful. Like it's so the cinematography, the production design, it feels like it's of the time.
Yeah.
It's like this like noir like thriller. Like, it has a different tone than like the movie. I would really recommend it.
Yeah, I've
Um
heard it's really, really good.
yeah,
I
so
I just aren't the episodes kind of long? I think it's just like
uh
I
I think, they're not much, they're definitely shorter than
comparable.
like The Boys and that
Okay,
kind of
then
stuff.
all
So
right, then I can do that.
yeah. I think there's a couple that are like normal like 40, 50-minute episodes,
All
but
right, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard great things. I just gotta jump in.
Yeah, so yeah, so I like this group of nominees.
Hmm.
I haven't seen Lessons in Chemistry. This also, I mean, it feel that initially felt like this, and we'll get to it in comedy. This and Palm Royale felt very like you guys are stars. here's
Mm,
some Emmys, like especially Paul Royale. Again, we, looking at like the reviews, it's like, did anyone actually really watch this show?
mm.
But um, I don't know. Still, when with 4 out of 5 at least, maybe to some 5 out of 5, that's a pretty good category, especially when you look at like comedy and drama series.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
all right, let's jump to comedy series unless you have any other.
No, I didn't have anything for the limited series.
All right, so here we go. The Bear led with a record-breaking 23 nominations, followed by Only Murders in the Building with 21, Hacks with 16, Palm Royale with 11, Abbott Elementary with 9, What We Do in the Shadows with 8, and Curb Your Enthusiasm and Reservation Dogs with 4 nominations. Those are your 8 comedy series nominees. What do you think about them, Kyle?
Um, I think it's a lot of the usual suspects, some surprise in that regard. I think What We Do in the Shadows is maybe a season or two too long.
Yeah.
But I think at this point it's just like, yeah, we'll just throw them in there. They kind of deserve it. Reservation Dogs, I've heard great things. I haven't watched past the first season. I was surprised to see Palm Royale. I
Yeah.
didn't know they got that much love. And I think the others are, the usual suspects. Good to see Curb get a final nomination here. Although I don't think it's good enough to win. I thought it got better as the season went along, but not as strong a season. And I really do think it's between, Only Murders, Abbott, and The Bear. But I don't, especially going to this season, it's not a comedy. It's
No.
not.
No.
No. Let's just break it down. The Bear, record-breaking 23 total nominations. That's the most ever for a comedy series.
Hmm.
30 Rock had that record back in 2009 with 22 nominations. And I saw a tweet today. It's like there's more jokes in one episode of 30 Rock than all of The Bear so far. And I think
Yeah.
it's true. And I love The Bear. I really like The Bear, but like it's not a comedy. Like it
No.
really isn't. And we're really stuck with this like 30-minute time thing. Like it's just very, because like there's more tense moments. There's more like stomach moments than
Yeah.
like even like Succession. I was like, that's a comedy. I was in the
Yeah.
drama. Like it's
Hmm.
lines are so blurred, but I feel like there's been a lot more backlash than usual with this category, specifically with The Bear. And I don't know what this means for, its chances this season. Season 2 was so strong, and that is the one
Season
that
two
is,
is a strong, very strong.
and that's the one that is technically up for
Yeah.
wins in, this
Hmm.
time around. And when season 2 was airing last year, it really helped season 1. I will say it right now, the Eben Moss Backrack, who won for
Hmm.
season 1, did not deserve to win for season 1. He really deserved to win for
For
Forks,
this,
which was
yes.
in season 2, but
Yep.
people saw that when they were voting
Hmm.
on season 1.
Yeah.
That's what helped him win that. So it's like, but now he's up for Forks. Are people going to remember that, or are they going to judge his work that was airing now this year in season 3? Did he have enough this year to warrant the win this year? It's like it's a very like weird system, and that's where it's like these things aren't actually winning for what they should be winning.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
feel like, well, season 2 really helped season 1 last year win so many awards. I wonder if season 3, which just came out, we won't get into spoilers now. Maybe we'll talk about it in our next podcast. But like I've seen all season 3. I feel like a lot of people are kind of unhappy with how season 3 was. It felt like you almost took like what I heard, the creator had a 3-season plan, but now it's at least a 4-season show. So season
Hmm.
3 felt
Hmm.
stretched out. And like at the end of the day, after thinking about what actually happened in
Yeah.
those 10 episodes of season 3,
Hmm.
so it's like, will that now hurt the wins? Like, sure, like
Hmm.
these votings, the initial noms already were, in before season 3 came out. Will that now affect how, season 3 will or season 2 will win come this September? Can like something like that's actually a comedy like Hacks lot of love for that show. Win. Abbott Elementary, a solid network
Mhm.
comedy. Like that'll be really interesting to see. Or
I
if they're just gonna be like, no, this show is still like amazing, and
yeah, I
whether it's a
think
comedy drama doesn't matter, it's the best show. And it's a really good show. I really like the show, but
yeah, I mean, I think with the nominations being so high, I think it's still well received, and I think people, despite the kind of critique of this season, I think people will still recognize that it's a great show. And even with that performance by Evan Moss Backrack, I have to go, oh yeah, that was from season two, and it was very good. Season two is the season that this show should get more
yeah,
love for, because the season two is very, very good.
yeah. I mean, but yeah, did it already get that season two
Yeah,
love
I
for
know.
season one? That's
I know. I
that's the
think
question.
I think it's still a well-loved show, so
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's going to clean up still. But there's plenty of time
yeah.
till,
I'm honestly
I mean,
surprised that The Bear didn't get more love in the supporting categories, like the morning show we talk
yep.
about, because you know you see it with Ted Lasso, like in years
Mhm.
before, it's like everyone on the soccer team got a nomination. It's like, really? This person? Who's this? They're not even on the show.
Yeah.
And this year
Yeah.
you have Liza Colin-Zayas, Evan Moss Backrack, and Lionel Boyce for your supporting
Mhm.
nominees. Of course, you got your leads in Io and Jeremy, but I could have seen, not that they like need it for season two, but like Abby Elliott,
Yep.
Oliver Platt, Maddie
Mhm.
Matterson, even like it's just like I could just see them giving it to everyone on this poster.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm
Mhm.
surprised they didn't, but I like they actually did it right, and they spread the love around. But they're so used to doing something like with Ted Lasso, White Lotus, Succession, where it's like, hey, you're
Mhm.
on the show The Bear, you get a nomination.
Yeah.
But Io did jump from supporting to lead this year though. Uh,
Mhm.
she won for supporting last year, and if we look at the lead actress category, she's up against a lot of multiple nominees, a lot of winners. Jean Smart already won twice for Hacks.
Mhm.
Quinta Brunson, who's also up for writing this year, won this category last year.
Mhm.
Maya Rudolph has three other nominations this year in different various things. So it's like you have a lot of strong contenders in this category, a lot of previous winners. So this would be a really interesting one to see. It's like, will Gene Smart go 3 for 3 for those 3 seasons of Hacks? Will Quentin Brunson repeat, from last year's win, or will Io repeat for last year's win in a different category? So it's going to be a
Yeah.
very competitive category, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll know. I'm going to say this probably for our prediction episode,
Yeah,
but if this isn't an early category, if we've got some other nominees and it's going the Bears' way, I could definitely see it
yeah,
just like a freight train and keep going. Because I really do think I think this is probably her best
yeah.
chance to do it, because it was a strong season for her, and it's probably a good step up.
And she got a lot of love for
Yeah.
directing in season three.
Yeah.
And
So,
she had a great just year overall in
mhm.
life. So it's
Yeah,
like,
so I
yeah.
think now would be the time to do this kind of category, jump and really take it. So we'll see.
We'll have to wait and see. Let's looking at some other nominees here. I'm sad Curb won't have too much to end with. You mentioned it, Kyle. Like, yeah, was it its best season? Definitely not. But just 4 noms. Really, I mean, just the main ones were for LD and for series here. None really for, guest stars. You didn't get one for Jerry, or even, supporting actor for JB Smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It's just of course you give like the one for, Larry, who's been nominated for 20 plus years of the show at this point. But Jerry did get a nomination for Best TV Movie for Unfrosted. So
Mm-hmm.
there you go, Jerry.
Yep, he did.
I
He-
honestly was like, does that count? I'm like, yeah, I guess it wasn't a theater movie.
No.
So I guess it's a TV movie. Good
Yeah.
for him. But
Yeah. It's just funny that Netflix can have both TV movies and Oscar-worthy contenders and on the, it's
Yeah.
just funny.
Yeah, because I really thought like Frosty was gonna be a Razzie contender, but I
Yeah.
guess it's not. It can't be because
Yeah.
it's a TV play. But another weird one. So this one is the other two. Now, so this is really strange. So it got a comedy writing nomination. It got one last year too
Hmm.
for the same season. Because this is like some like weird like hanging Chad type rule where it's like half the season was eligible last cycle and the other half was this cycle because it aired
That
like in
is,
between
yeah.
this episode that they got nominated for. Brooke hosts a night of undeniable good, aired on June 15th, 2023. So it's what,
Mm.
like 15 days after the cutoff of the last season. So I have no idea what that means for like season three as a whole. Like, was season three eligible last year? Was it this year? Maybe it was like, oh, you had 7 episodes last year, you had 3 episodes this year, so that's last year. So like I don't know what the exact rule is, and maybe that's
Yeah,
what
because I
confused people because like if you ask me, looking at the comedy list, it's like I would have thrown the other two on there. Season three
yeah.
was really strong, but
Yeah.
maybe people didn't know. Like, can we do this? Like it's this weird
Yeah, that's what
half
I
and
was
half.
thinking. I thought there was like a rule in the past where like if you aired before this date, the entire season counts. So the fact that you could split it
Yeah.
is, also it seems counterintuitive because like everyone's gonna forget about it
Yeah.
because it's so far away. I don't know. But I agree. If the other two is eligible, I think it kind of deserves a little bit of love
Yeah,
here
over
because
Palm
it was,
Royale. Like,
yeah.
but let's see. Some other ones, the Frasier reboot. Frasier used to be huge, man. Frasier got 108 nominations back in the day, 37 wins, including a record-breaking five for
Yeah.
comedy series. Just got three below the line categories this year. I don't know if it's just, you know, I heard it's getting, they're doing season two now and fixing some things up, but like, and it gets season one gets better, throughout, but like, I think they wanted more. Maybe it's because, oh, you're on Paramount Plus, who's watching
Yeah.
that, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, poor Frasier. They're not calling again. But the one I think we gotta talk about, I'm sure you're excited for. He's the most devious bastard in all New York City. Matt Berry, first
Yeah.
nomination, ever, and for What We Do in the Shadows, I believe he's the first actor from the show, I believe, to get a
Really?
nomination as well. I could be wrong with that. I'll see if I could double check that, but I know the series, I think it was like seasons two and three, and now five have gotten comedy series nominations, and definitely has gotten some writing ones throughout the years. But yeah, I think yeah, I'm
He's
looking.
probably the best part of the show.
Oh yeah, I
He,
love his character.
he's so he's so good what he does with that character. So I think he's the best part of the show. I think he deserves it. And you said this is his first nomination?
Yeah, this is his first nomination ever.
Wow. So that's good. I mean, honestly, he should have won or
Yeah,
he should have been nominated for the Jackie
yeah,
Daytona.
I love that episode. But yeah, I mean, all I could say is like I hope you can hear this, Clem Fandango. Toast has done it. Yeah, and Matt Berry's got a nomination. But who
Yeah.
knows? We'll see. The final season of Shadows is going to be coming up soon. Can
Hmm.
we get forgetting all their characters' names? Who's the other lead vampire there?
Uh, oh no, I
Oh
know.
no.
Yeah,
Oh no.
I'm losing it. Yeah,
We're losing it. But he should get a nomination too. I don't know, remember. See if I can pull this up here. Nandor.
Nandor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kevin Novak.
Yeah.
But all right. Any other things to talk about with comedy series, Kyle?
Comedy series. Let me take a look at my notes. Yeah, we mentioned that. We mentioned that. Sorry, I'm just like, oh, I just thought it was cool. Selena Gomez was nominated
Mm,
along with, now that the other two have kind of gotten their nomination, she's kind of been shown some love. So good for her.
mhm.
I know she needs it. When
Yeah.
you hear this, Selena, reach out to me, okay?
Yeah. But yeah, and yeah. Oh,
And
that's
Palm Royale. Why?
yeah, I don't know. We're not I don't think either of us saw it, know anything about it, so we're not the ones to to talk about it. But yeah, I didn't know it connected with the audience. I really did not know. And like looking at it, it looks like other top nominations it got Kristen Wiig for lead actress in a comedy series, and then Carol Burnett for supporting actress. And you should have been doing this and giving her some love for Saul. I mean, I giving her the
Mm,
win for that one. That would have been
yeah.
nice. But can Saul be up in this year's
Yeah,
drama
right.
category? Like it
Mhm.
would have won.
Just put out one more episode.
Yeah, just do one episode on the
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about just some other like hodgepodge, just miscellaneous ones here that kind of stood out to me when I went through those. I go through these documents. There's like hundreds of pages, and I'll like control F and I'll see what I can find of some fun ones. And I was happy for some The Traitors Love. Season 2 of The Traitors. I got in for reality competition program and a nomination for the host, Alan Cumming. That was really fun to see. Really great season. And speaking of the host of a reality competition, Jeff Probst actually is back in the mix. This is his first nomination since actually winning the award the first 4 times it was given back 2008 through 2011. I always thought this was interesting where like he, won the first one. He wins it for those first, 4 years that the award is given, and then is not nominated again.
Hmm.
And that's always like this weird thing. Like I feel like there should be always like a tail like off where it's like, okay, it's like you won these four, you at least get the nomination the next year, and
Mhm.
then you fall off. But to be like, I'm the best, I've been the best for 4 years, and then it's like, yeah, you're not even good enough to give you nominated this year. It's like, really? But he's back. He's back in the mix. Um, I always want to talk about scripted variety series because what a joke this category is.
Yeah.
You have just two noms this year. Like last year, I think there was three, but this year it's two, and it's SNL versus John Oliver again. It's like why we even do this, I don't understand because like I think like all the talk shows were mad that Oliver was always winning. So it's like, okay, we gotta split him up. He
Mm.
does something different. He does a weekly thing versus, we do a daily thing. But then the writing staffs are still combined into one category for outstanding writing for a talk series. So these two are competing in that writing category with The Daily Show. So why are they in a different
Yeah.
category here? It's just like,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
and
And
if there's not enough to only have two nominees, put these two with the other ones.
yeah, yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
Because honestly, there's not many like sketch shows anymore
Yeah.
unless, Tim Robinson is coming out with a new show or having his show back. Also, I know it's probably considered a talk show, but like there was scripted elements to it, and then this was my whole thing about shows like this. It's like you could have easily put like John Mulaney in this category.
I'm really mad that John Mulaney's not in any of these categories.
Yeah. So like even though it probably would have gone under talk show, which you could argue he deserves to be there as well, but you could put him in this category as well,
Yeah,
So
like just to set things up. So it's like outstanding scripted variety series is Last Week Tonight with John Oliver and Saturday Night Live.
mhm,
Outstanding talk series, there's only four this year. The Daily
mhm,
Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Late Night with Seth Meyers, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I can
yeah,
maybe see, okay, Kimmel, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, different than John Oliver. But The Daily Show is the same as John Oliver. It is a scripted show. It's a
mhm,
sure, there's a guest segment at the end for like 4 minutes, but sometimes John Oliver does like a weird, like, bit at the end. So it's like those are the same thing. And that's
mhm,
why I don't understand. And yeah, you bring up John Mulaney. That was one I was actually really mad about. I love John Mulaney. Everybody's in LA. I thought that should have gotten some love, it over any of these. But especially if you only have four nominees and one, two, and another, just throw this one in. I know
yeah,
there's some rule. It's like, oh, it's like a certain percentage. Like, oh, if you only have like 10 nominees, then you can only have four of these. Like that's why like if you have 50 drama series, that's why you have eight drama series. Like it's very like this math
mhm,
kind of thing.
okay,
But yeah, Mulaney should be in here. He only got the show got only one for picture editing, which is funny because it was a live
I
show.
know, yeah,
Um, but
okay,
yeah, and I have the
Hot
host from Hot
Ones.
Ones here. The Hot Ones campaigned and successfully petitioned to be eligible for the talk series category, but
Hmm.
the show didn't get nominated. Um, so it tried to be in the outstanding talk
Yeah,
series
I was
one,
gonna say, is there like an internet awards? Because it's probably would be on
but
there.
it's
Yeah,
interesting though, Kyle, because what is Netflix?
I know, I know. It's
What's
so
Netflix versus
yeah.
YouTube? Like
I
that's
agree. I
yeah,
mean, and pretty much every guest that goes on that show who's done interviews in the past, Conan, like other comedians, stuff like that, they say, dude, you're a really good interviewer.
yeah,
And like, probably that show goes farther than any of the, late night talk shows. He probably gets more
yeah,
out of it than those shows do. So,
definitely, definitely. I got a couple more, but any other like weird ones, Kyle, that like stand out to you? Any
well, I
off the
saw
wall?
that I'm Just Ken's performance got Ryan Gosling's little performance there. Got an Emmy nomination for like choreography or something like that. So it's just still
It's
being
still
nominated.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
let's see. I think I saw there was actually like a bunch for like Gosling where he's up for the host of Saturday Night Live.
mhm.
That's in the guest acting category. There's usually, one or two in there, but he made it in. I'm trying to see if I can have the other nominees here. But yeah, like, he's up against John Bernthal in The Bear and like Bob Odenkirk in The Bear and Will Poulter in The Bear. But he's there as the SNL host.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. Um, I didn't go through every category or anything like that. But one that I did see that I'm glad she's getting some love recently. She did very well at the roast of Tom Brady, and I
Mm,
think people were surprised how well she did. Nikki Glazer,
mm,
and she got some love for her special on HBO Max. So good for her, because she absolutely killed it there. So it's good to see that love is getting
mm,
received for her special. So it's good.
mm. It's funny, like yeah, like the roast is up for outstanding variety special, and you look at that category, and it's always the same ones every year. It's like it's the Grammy Awards, the Oscars, the Tony Awards, the Super Bowl halftime show, and that's what it is this year. It's just like,
Yep.
yep, you got those, and yeah, like maybe one sneaks in. I'm surprised like
Hmm.
the Emmys don't give like an award to the Emmys. We're like, oh, your ceremony last year was so
Yeah.
good, like,
Yeah.
but um. Yeah, the two that, kind of stood out to me, just some people we always talk about on the podcast that we like. There's no Tim Robinson this year for I Think You Should Leave. He wasn't eligible. He
Hmm.
was last season, but Eric Andre got his first nomination. So good for him.
That guy is insane, man.
Yeah. And then John Wilson got some more love for the final season of the How To with John Wilson for hosted nonfiction series and also for writing for a nonfiction program. So just I like to see some love for John Wilson, and
Is he coming out with a new is he
I think he's
doing
working on
another season?
something, but like he's done with John Wilson. I mean the How
Uh,
To with John Wilson, but
yeah,
like I'm sure he's working on something.
something,
But
yeah. But that show is great, man.
yeah.
If you just want to like
Yeah.
relax and watch something and see where it ends up, it's like you have no idea where it's going. So,
Mhm.
it's a very good show.
Oh, I think that's it for Emmys. I don't have anything else. That's all I got, and at least for now, because we will be predicting these, come September for the ceremony that's going to be on September 15th on ABC. No, no strike seemingly this year to delay it till January, so it'll be September, hopefully. But until then. We're going to be back at the end of the month to catch up on some of the media, that we've missed so far this summer. We talked a lot about The Bear tonight. Probably we'll talk about The Bear season 3 that came and went during our time off. The Boys is wrapping up its fourth season, and then maybe some movies. Kyle and I a few weeks ago saw The Bike Riders. I may try
Hmm.
to see the twister or see
Mm.
the twisters.
The twist.
Drop the, it's cleaner. But yeah, so a lot of stuff we've been watching and partaking in this summer. We'll catch up on all of it on our next podcast. You can find episodes of the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, doreduncy.com. We are live on Twitch, twitch.tv/doreduncy. We're also live on YouTube at the same exact time. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok at Dual Redundancy. I got to thank both of you guys for joining me tonight. Very quick turnaround from these nominations this morning. John, so many images I threw at you, like a couple hours ago, directing the show. I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, all right. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
John Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for our 11th annual Emmy nomination reaction special. Until next time, goodbye, everybody.